So when you decided to do this main King Von documentary, you called it Rap's First Serial Killer.
I did.
You knew that was going to cause problems.
So here's the thing. That wasn't the plan from the start, right? So let me take you back. So I did those videos about Von. He nearly packed my channel. After that, I was shook. I took out the KI stuff. He let me slide. And then I was like, I'm never talking about this dude again. Because I was scared. Like, you know, his A&R was threatening me. Von seemingly had killed people. I was like, I ain't talking about this guy again. Let me go back to doing some
I don't think he's going to fly to England to kill you, though. Like, were you actually worried about that?
You know what it is? It's just like, I've explained this before. You probably have the same thing. Like, you know, 95% of the time, your safety, like, it's probably not really an issue. But it's just that 1% of the time. What if I want to go to Chicago? What if I want to go to America? I don't know. Anyway.
Well, I think you called me. I think you were like, hey, I'm going to go to LA. Should I have security? I'm like, yeah, if you hang out in the projects in South Central, but if you're walking down Rodeo Drive, you're not going to need security. Was that right?
Yeah, you're right. But you know what it is? Like, this is the thing is like, I feel like with the content we make, I feel like most people fuck with it. Yeah, you're going to have a bunch of haters, but I'm less scared of like a gangster pulling up on me and shooting me. I'm more scared of like a crazy person that hates what I do and thinks that I'm a culture vulture and they're just crazy and they got a gun and they could do some crazy shit. Like, I'm worried about that more than I'm worried about King Von pulling up on me. But anyway, setting that aside, going back to what you were saying, I was basically said, I'm gonna leave Von alone. And then it was November the 4th, 2020, I was doing an interview with another rapper in the UK, see on the news Von lost his life. Was November the 4th or? No, it was November the 6th. I see the news that Von lost his life, and I don't know, something about that, man. It really shook me up. Like the moment I saw that news, it really affected me because in spite of what had happened, I was a huge fan of Von's music. I would still listen to Von's music all the time. And seeing after he died, and then slowly learning about this situation that he'd got in, the young boy, the Quando situation, what happened with Lil Tim, it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? He's gone. I'm gonna do the full story. I'm gonna break down his whole life because unfortunately his life's over now, and I'm gonna really drill deep and find out really what was going on. And my whole point of approaching that story, I didn't say let me do a video called Rap's First Serial Killer that's gonna go viral. My goal with that story was I want to answer the question once and for all: did Von really have all these bodies? Because he's the one who said in songs, "I got talk about bodies. I got a few 4+3, 3+2. Let's talk about bodies. I got several. You know, you ain't a killer if you only got 2 bodies." Von's got lyric after lyric talking about how many bodies he's got. So my goal for the project was say, let's find out once and for all, true or false, does Von really have bodies? And once I started looking, and I'm like, damn, it's looking like he's got all these bodies. This matches up, this tweet, that news article, this police report. It all started adding up. And it all changed when I Googled, I was like, let me just look up like the FBI's definition of what a serial killer is. And I looked that up, and it said a serial killer is somebody that kills, I think it was 3 or more people in different locations with a month, potentially like more than a month between the murders, and you know, like patterns of behavior or people getting personal gratifications of the killing. And it kind of dawned on me at a certain point. I was like, I think this guy was a serial killer. I think he matches the description. And I thought that was a really interesting conversation. And that's when the title of the video came about. But honestly, I think a lot of people think it was like some, I don't know if Machiavellian's the right term, but just some, like, I was trying to go super viral. But I was just doing the research, trying to prove or disprove what Von had said in his own lyrics. And it just dawned on me at a certain point that, like, I think this guy ticks the boxes for a serial killer. And the rest is history, I guess.
Right, but you knew once you put that word, serial killer, in the title, you could have it sprinkled in through the, you know, the audio, whatever, but you titled it King Von, Rap's First Serial Killer. Now, there's been other people that have killed people in hip hop. You know, Gucci, although that story's a little convoluted, but, you know, people have caught bodies, some of which don't talk about it, some of which went to jail for it. But a serial killer, you're kind of putting an extra layer on top of it. Well, because that's not, being a killer has some level of respect depending on who you talk to, but a serial killer is generally, you know, not respected in society. No one wants to be a serial killer. You know, even like, for example, when I interviewed Sammy the Bull or Terrence Gangster Williams, and I've asked them, do they consider themselves serial killers? They're like, nah, I wouldn't say that. Like, they wouldn't, even though Sammy killed like 14 people, he would not take the title of serial killer himself, although by the definition you just said that the FBI lays out, he's a serial killer.
let me tell you why I think Von's a serial killer. Now, I might not say Sammy the Bull's a serial killer. The reason that I felt Von was a serial killer, because I've come across people that have killed a lot of people in gang wars before. You know, I did the video about No Limit, G Herbo's crew. There's a guy called Mad Max that, you know, they say he had 9 or 10 bodies, right? But I think for me, where I felt he became a serial killer was you got these multiple murders. There's more than 3 murders, they're more than a month apart. Some of them are years apart. It was really like when he became famous, the personal gratification that he seemed to get out of killing, I would say he was responsible for the murder of FBG Duck in a way that he felt responsible. He tweeted a goat emoji like minutes after Duck was killed. You know, he got a lot of personal gratification out of these killings. I think he wanted to continue these killings, and he wanted the whole world to know. I wish I'd have thought of this when I made the documentary. I've only thought of it after, but I feel like Von, I feel like he's the closest I could describe him to a traditional serial killer is the Zodiac killer. Because Von killed all these people, he became famous, and he wanted everyone to know that he killed all these people. You know, you ain't a killer if you only got 2 bodies. Like, talk about bodies, I got a few, 4 plus 3, 3 plus 2. Like, Von wanted the whole world to know that he was killing. He was putting out these codes. He was getting this personal gratification from killing, and he still wanted to kill. He wanted to have Duck killed. He wanted to have Man killed. There was a supposed rumored body in Atlanta. Now, I kind of disproved that in the video, but it's like, he wanted people to know he was a killer. I think he was more interested in getting people killed than rapping, and I think it's that element. Like, Sammy the Bull was killing for just business, and he ain't still trying to kill people right now. And he ain't hinting towards, in his interviews, there's bodies you don't know about, and I want you to know about them. I feel like the way Von carried himself, the way that he communicated these murders to the public through his music, and he got charged up off of that. I think these are the elements that make him like a serial killer, like the Zodiac killer sending these letters out to try and getting some excitement, like wanting to be caught. And I think these are the elements that, just to me, that made me feel like he ticked those requirements to the max. If he'd have never started rapping and started teasing the world, trying to let everyone know that he killed these people, I wouldn't say he's a serial killer. I would, you'd say he's a gang assassin, he's a hitman, he's a gangbanger. But it was the way that he got so much gratification out of letting the world know. And you know, we can get into it in a minute. But there's kind of just it's more like the way that he got so much out of being a killer and having everyone know he was a killer. And realistically, bro, that's why everyone was into Von. Like, people want to rewrite history now and have a go at me like, oh, you know, Trap Ross, you're capping. Von wasn't really like that. If Von was alive and you said you ain't really like that, you got no bodies, he'd slap you.